Hello and welcome to the Mentor Jessica coaching channel. I'm Jessica and welcome. If this is your first time here, I'm just letting you know I'm mainly talking about my lifestyle, my meat-based living, nutritional tips, and things that have helped me as I'm trying to overcome hypothyroidism and staying off medications and just sharing what has and hasn't worked for me. So in this week's video, we're going to be going over a number of things. We're going to be going over just my week in general, what I've been doing, what I've been up to. We're going to be going over my monthly challenge, how that's going so far, and the new addition to the challenge that's happening this week. My introductions and implementations, what's been going on with that, as after doing the autoimmune protocol, introducing and taking away items that haven't been working well for me. I'm going to be going over a debate that I had with myself this last week. So a few things I've been wrestling with and struggling with just myself, and then looking ahead what my plan is for the next couple months and what I have going on, as well as going over my goals for the week, my weekly results, and then one of the major things I noticed just this week after switching to Carnivore. This is something that I had in my mind I was going to be keeping track of, and I was going to keep an eye on a weekly basis, and I kind of forgot about, and I realized that this week. So that'll be on that list as well, and my takeaways from this week. So this week I did quite a bit of running around. My daughter had a couple different interviews, had to go back for second interviews, going back into background checks and whatnot. She got the job and she starts her first day tomorrow. So she's extremely excited about that. And while we were out and about, I was like, it was a lot of hurry up and waiting. And found out from my neighbor, the dog park that was supposed to open in town finally opened. We had heard about it all winter, and it was too wet of a spring. Actually, it was too wet, and then we had snow, and we had a few nice days, and then back to snow, and it was muddy, but I went to the dog park, took the dog, went running around because we have been bottled up, and I've been trying to the last couple weeks getting more time outside, and I've had an easier time getting outside myself, but I have a high energy dog, German short hair, and she needs to run, and she has not been getting enough time running, and playing fetch in the backyard was just not enough. So we spent some time going to the dog park and running around at the new dog park. So that's my week, what I've been doing, what I've been busy doing outside of anything Carnivore or just meetings in general. And then as far as my monthly challenge goes for April, it's all about whole foods and all surrounding about foods and eating. So last week was focusing on whole foods and transitioning into eating whole foods, one ingredient foods, and transitioning away from eating processed foods, which I was already doing that. So I really didn't have a problem struggling there. This next week, we're talking about mindful eating. And when I'm talking about mindful eating, it's being aware of when you're eating, when you are snacking. Are you snacking because you're bored? Are you snacking because you're stressed? Are you in this habit of it's a certain time, or I'm sitting and watching TV and eating at those times? So the focus is mindful eating and eating at a table where there's no distractions. You might even need to get rid of the phone, turn off the phone, flip it upside down, get it away from you. No electronics around, not watching, and just focusing on your eating and that time to enjoy your food. Now, this is also where I struggle, because as you're taking the time and enjoying your food, you're not eating it extremely fast. And that's where I struggle. I am one to eat a whole meal very fast. Even a couple steaks. I can eat a couple steaks in 10, 15 minutes pretty easily. I think part of that has to do with growing up on a farm and having large families. You grab what you can, you eat fast because someone else is going to eat it on you. Or you don't have very much time and you only have a few minutes to eat before another load needs to go out or go out and doing field work. And I feel like that's a habit that I've had over the years I grew up with. So I do struggle sitting and spending time eating. My boyfriend jokes, he's like, I put a meal in front of you, we go out to eat, you have it gone in 5 minutes, no problem. And I'm like, yes, I do. And I'm trying not to. And when I try not to eat that fast, I can get it to maybe 10 minutes. So that is definitely something I know I need to work on more. And I'm going to be focusing on that this week. One of the things I'm planning on doing is putting my utensils down between each bite and spending more time chewing my food before I even pick up my utensils again. So that's one of the things I'm going to be doing. Now, as far as introductions, I haven't introduced something new the last couple weeks. One of the things last week I said I was trying to stay away from eggs and starting to avoid so many eggs. So I didn't have any eggs this week, but so far the only dairy product I've introduced has been butter. So this week I decided I'm going to try some cream. And so therefore I have more coffee. We had a lot cooler week this week. We had anywhere from highs in the 30s to, well, the last couple days were 50s, so that felt like a heat wave. But it was pretty much cool all week, and I was running my fireplace, and I like to have my cup of coffee to warm up. And so I started adding some cream. I'm like, we're going to try it out. Butter hasn't affected me. I haven't had any issues with butter. So I was going to try cream. And here we are, 5 days after starting to put a little bit of cream in my coffee. I can see I'm getting a little bit of a rash on my arm, and I can't see it now, but earlier today I was getting a rash on my neck. And this is the first time I've gotten a rash on my neck. So I haven't had any stomach issues, but I started to have this rash. And so I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and put the heavy cream off to the side for a while and give myself a break from that. I don't think I overdid it because I really didn't have a whole lot, but when I'm getting the rashes and that's the only thing I've introduced, I'm taking that as a sign as I either overdid it or my body's not ready for it. All right, now let's move on to a debate I was having with myself. The last couple days I've been going back and forth do I really need to be coming on and doing these videos each week? Is there really a point to it? Because I feel like I haven't had much change recently. And I've noticed there's been a lot of carnivores that have popped on and they'll do the diet and then they'll stop doing videos. And I kept telling myself, I'm like, no, I don't want to stop, because part of that is my accountability to myself. And if I know I'm doing a video and I know, because at times I'm like, I've stopped myself from going off track because I've told myself, if I go off track, I'm going to have to admit that I went off track, and I'm going to have to admit this happened. And yes, there have been times I've gone off track, and pizza has been my culprit a few times. And so I was like, I really need to keep doing these videos, mainly for me, and recording and staying on track. And I know I was watching a couple videos this weekend, and some of them were like, oh, I haven't been around because I haven't really had any results, so I haven't really had anything to report. But here's the thing. We don't just want to hear when everything's all hunky-dory and everything's fine. Everyone needs to hear these struggles too. They need to realize that, yes, there's a time where you can get to a stall and your body is still working. Your body is, there's still changes happening, even though they're not happening on the scale. And that's one of my biggest reasons why I have stayed and doing these videos, is because I know it's not on the scale, and you'll find out with my results. It's not, the scale isn't doing anything. The scale definitely is not motivating me, but it has to do with the body composition and the changes in the inches. And the overall inches might not change, but the body composition is. And that what has been keeping me going and keeping my app going. So for you out there who sit there and think, I don't feel anything happening, there is something that has happened during the week, and you could be doing everything you can think of to stay on track, and the results aren't there. But what results are you weighing? Is it just the weight? Is it just the measurements? Is it how you feel? Have you been assessing your digestion? What are you assessing? Are you assessing your sleep? There could be a number of things. One of them I'm also going to be mentioning later, that could be changing that you may not have been realizing, and that could be what someone else is looking for. All right, now while I'm looking ahead over the next couple months, I have a lot of different changes, a lot of different shifts. In the next 6 weeks, my girls are going to be done with doing their homeschool work. However, I'm going to be traveling more. I have more to do with work. I have one lady that's is stepping down, and I'm going to be filling in. So I'm going to be doing double duty on those positions. I'm also taking a nutritional certification course, and I have a lot going on really at the end of May. Within an 8-day period, I have both of my daughter's birthdays, Memorial Day, a work event, a wedding, and a graduation that I can think of and off the top of my head that just happens in 8 days. Towards the end of May, I'm also going to be taking time and taking a vacation to rest up for the busyness that lies ahead for the summer. So during the summer, I travel and go around to different areas and promote homeschooling and talk to homeschool mamas and give encouragement. So I have a huge shift that's going to be happening, and my daughters both have some big projects that are coming up and trying to get them all done. So I haven't been doing as many videos this last month as I originally planned on. And I wanted to let you know why. And I don't foresee having too many extra videos going out over the next couple months. I do have plans as my daughter got a job, and I'm trying to get her to and from work, because she will not have her license until the very end of May or very beginning of June. I'm having to drop her off and pick her up, so I'm moving that into my schedule. I'm hoping to find more time while she's at work, in that time where she's at work, that I'm working on different things and get into a new rhythm, at least until she has her license. So there's a transition of a new rhythm. Isn't that always fun? It seems like I just got into a new rhythm after daylight savings time. Now I have a new rhythm because my daughter has a job and having to drop her off. And it'll be a new rhythm once she gets her license and I can rely on her, right? All right, so my goals. I am so happy. I met all my goals this week. It really helped hitting my sauna goal, as those were the days that were easiest to get my move goal and my exercise goal in and get my steps in for the whole week. Doing the sauna those 4 days really helped me. I'm hoping I can keep that up as it's supposed to be getting warmer. I haven't done the cold plunge a second time. I may be doing that again. We'll see. And then also for my results for this week, since last week, I have lost 0.7 inches, 7/10 of an inch is how much I've lost in inches. Now, this is why it's important to do both weight and measurements, because if I was just going off of my weight, I would be extremely upset because I got my move goal in. I got my exercise in. I slept great. I felt like I had more energy this week. I felt like I was doing great. And if I go back to having that whole debate, like, do I really need to do these videos? That's part of the reason I was wondering if I really needed to continue doing these videos. But my weight, I gained 4.2 pounds this week. So that is like the major reason I'm going to take that cream out of my coffee, because I am making an assumption that was probably my biggest culprit, was that cream being in the coffee. The inches went down, but my weight to jump up that much, that was shocking for me. So I'm gonna remove the cream and see if that helps out as far as that goes. So not the happiest with the weight, but like I said, I was really debating on if I needed to continue with these videos because I was feeling great, I was sleeping great. I've been doing a few different meditations at night, and when my mind was going and my mind was racing, and I'm like, I just need to do some meditations and some breath work, and I would do those. I would do my breath work, and if I wasn't calm, I would do a sleep meditation and go right to sleep. And then I slept all night and I was fine. So, but that right there, having those measurements and that weight and staying accountable. So I have my proof of how things affected me. That's what I need. That's what I have this channel for. I have mainly for me. So I hope it helps you out as well. And if you resonate with any of this, or you know someone who resonates with any of this, please share this video with them so they know they're not alone. Okay. What is it that I have been waiting for and looking forward to starting this carnivore journey back in July? One of the things that I was going to keep an eye on, because I heard it before, and I heard Ken Berry talk about skin tags. 4 years ago, I had a skin tag on my back, and I could not understand, like, why is this all of a sudden happening? I've never had a skin tag in my life. And I kept going, oh, it's just a skin tag. It's normal. No big deal. And I kept saying, no, it's not normal. I've never had one before. Like, what? How does it just appear? And I've never had one in my life before. Well, Ken Berry at one point said, you can make them go away if you go carnivore. And I laughed and I'd be like, I can live with it. I don't need to go carnivore. I can live with the skin tag. Nope, don't need to go carnivore to get rid of it. I don't want to go carnivore that badly, right? Well, with the whole hypothyroidism and being diagnosed with that, I switched to carnivore and did the autoimmune protocol in order to help support my thyroid and staying off of thyroid medication. When I finished my autoimmune protocol, where I was just doing beef, salt, I'm sorry, correction, it wasn't just beef. It was just meat, salt, and water, and seltzer water. No sugar, no flavorings, no nothing. The end of November, I checked. I'm like, is that skin tag still there? Yes, it was. This week, I went to scratch my back, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, like I don't feel that skin, like where is that at? And I'm feeling around, like it's gone. I'm like, I'm imagining this. I'm like, no. Felt again. Yeah, it's gone. So July, I had it. I was looking forward to, at some point it's going to be gone, right? In November, I was looking, because I'm like, this is the cleanest I've ever eaten for 3 months. Cleanest I've ever eaten. And I could tell my heels weren't cracking anymore, and they weren't so dry and cracking, because that was one of the signs that I had heard was hypothyroidism, dry skin, and if your heels are cracking, your feet are cracking, that's one of the possible signs of having a thyroid issue. Well, my feet were doing great. I saw great improvement. And that's when I'm like, well, do I still have that skin tag? Yes, I did. But now, and I don't know when it actually disappeared. I just noticed it this week. It's gone. So it's been over 8 months doing carnivore autoimmune protocol, pretty much staying on track. I've been doing really well. I really thought I was going to have more times I was going to be coming on and telling you about my mistakes, or a day that I took off, or a cheat meal, and they didn't happen. So I'm proud of myself for that. But to actually have the realization, like that skin tag that I've been wanting to be gone for years, it's gone. So this is leading me into my takeaways for today's video. Number 1, changes take time. Just because you don't see them happening, they are happening. Example is my skin tag. It took how many months for it to go away? Those changes are happening. They're happening internally. We don't always see them. And sometimes we forget what our struggles were and what problems we had until someone mentions that they had something or they're suffering from something, and you sit and go, oh yeah, when was the last time I had that problem? Second takeaway, it's not just about weight. I didn't start this. Actually, I started it hoping to lose weight, but also knowing not knowing at that point in July, I didn't know. I had a suspicion that I had a thyroid issue, and it was confirmed in August. And that's what made me stay and even get more strict, is finding that out. But I'm stressing that it's not about the weight. If you go back through any of my weekly updates, my weight, there was fluctuation, and there was times I gained weight, and so many nice people, oh, you're gaining muscle. No, I wasn't. I wasn't gaining muscle. I wasn't, no. But the inches were going down. There was recompositioning of my body happening, and I can see that when I'm going back and looking at my photos and my body composition photos from when I started to where I am now and where my measurements are. And takeaway number 3, it's mainly just for me. I'm going to be staying away from the creamer and sticking with dairy as being my only dairy product for a while. But I wouldn't have known unless I did this test. And so my experiment for me, it didn't work out, but it might be something else for you. Thank you for joining me this week on my update. And like I said, if you resonate with any of this, leave a comment below. I love getting the comments. I love reading your comments. And if there's any part of this that resonates with someone that you know or something that they need to hear, go ahead, share this video with them. Put in the timestamp when you share it, put in the timestamp of where you want them to watch the video, and it will take them right to that timestamp. All right, and you have a great day, and I hope to see you next week.